So while my friends were dreaming of higher studies, I was dreaming to race on an international platform which came through the way of an Ironman. If you don't know what an Ironman is, you will get to know as I speak. So I had planned to do my first Ironman after my 12th board exam, and I had planned it in my 10th grade itself. So I had 2 years to practice for it. So while I was practicing for the 2 years, my childhood coach told me about this nationals happening of modern pentathlon just 2 weeks away from the scheduled date. So in modern pentathlon, we have 5 sports: swimming, running, horse riding, rifle shooting, and sword fight. So the major challenge which I faced at that time was I had never held a rifle and a sword in my hand, and my friends were pretty good at it. So I had 2 weeks to practice for, and I utilized it, and I somehow made it to the nationals. At the end of the event, I was the top scorer among my age category, and also bagged my first gold medal at the nationals. So after the nationals, my burning desire got an increase, and I wanted to participate on an international level. So it came through the way of an Ironman. So in Ironman, we have 4 kilometers of swimming, 180 kilometers of cycling, and 42 kilometers of running to be done within 17 hours. So the result was pretty interesting, and I did the race in 14 hours and 17 minutes with a 16th rank in my age category. So when I came back to India after the race, there was the post-race glamour, and every newspaper and TV channel covered my story. So at that point of time, I wanted to do something extraordinary and I wanted to challenge myself more. So I found out the challenge of Ultraman. So Ultraman is basically of 10 kilometers of sea swim, 421 kilometers of cycling, and 85 kilometers of running to be done within 36 hours. So you get to race 3 days, 12 hours each, with 4 stages. On the first day, you race for 10 kilometers of swim and 140 kilometers of cycling. On the second day, you ride for 280 kilometers, and on the third day, you run for 85 kilometers. So while I was practicing, I was invited for a 50 kilometers ultra marathon, which was happening in the major cities of India. So me and my friend who had already done an Ultraman, we decided to ride down the town for almost 250 kilometers and run the 50 kilometers marathon the exact night. So I completed the 50 kilometers also in 6 hours and 15 minutes, which was a pretty good time. But at that time, who knew that a major setback was incoming? Well, I took a break for 3 to 4 days and started to practice again. And at that point of time, when I started to practice, I felt a slight pain in my left thigh muscle. And I thought that it would be a muscle pain, and I ignored it. But days passed by, my training got increasing, and the pain didn't reduce. So I showed it to my physio, and he told me that it is an ITB syndrome. So an ITB syndrome is from your glues, the muscle goes down to your knee, and when you run, it gets tightened, and you get immense pain. So the pain wasn't reducing, and my physio advised me to take the needling therapy from another physio. So in needling therapy, needles are inserted into the pain muscle and to improve the joint functioning of the joints. So I took the sessions of it, various sessions, but the pain didn't reduce. So till in the mean period which went through the pain was of 2 months before the race, exactly 2 months before the race. So at that time, I decided to announce that I would be racing the Ultraman. So when I announced that I would be doing the Ultraman, I got to hear a lot of criticisms about me. That many of them said that I won't be able to finish the race, it wasn't my cup of tea, and my body wasn't fit for it. So at that time, I decided to race with a reason that there are no mental and physical challenges when hard work beats talent. So I made it to the start line. And on just 4 days before the race, we got the news that there are some baby hammerhead sharks which were spotted on the swim course. Interesting to swim with the sharks, but hopefully they were babies. So the news frightened me, and I made a strategy that no matter what, I will make it to the finish line, and I will close my eyes through the entire swim course, and I will listen to the navigation of my crew member who will be on the raft besides me. So race started, and after 2 to 3 kilometers of the swim, I got 3 to 4 times, I vomited for 3 to 4 times, which made to a major dehydration at that point. If at that point I had stopped in the race, and I would have certainly give up looking beneath the water, because we can't handle the situation what's beneath it. So I stick to the strategy made that I will close my eyes and stay calm. I completed the swim course in 3 hours and 20 minutes, which was a pretty good time for 10 kilometers Swiss swim. On the first day, we have to swim for 10 kilometers and hop on the bike for 140-kilometer ride. So just 2 days before the race, I had purchased a sports activity tracking watch to track all my activities of the race. And I didn't change the measures of the watch. The measures which I had planned for the race on which I would be riding, and the measures which were showing on the watch were completely different. And the resulting was that I was utilizing my twice the energy of which I had planned for. But the result came quite good, that I finished the 140 kilometers of cycling in 6 hours and 50 minutes. So at that point of time, I realized that everyone needs to tackle our psychological mind. So on the second day, we had to ride for 280 kilometers. And on the first section of the race, which was for 40 to 50 kilometers, I was riding with the top professional athletes of the race, which were one of the top athletes of the world. And we were cruising on an average speed of 40 to 50 kilometers per hour. And from nowhere, a volunteer popped out, and he gave us a penalty. So we had to get separated and ride on our own. So we began to ride, and after about 120 to 150 kilometers, my communication gap with the crew members was increasing, which made me frustrated. So I got in touch with another crew members and told them to contact my members to stop at a particular point. So at that point, before the race, I had decided to finish the second day of 280 kilometers in 11 hours and 30 minutes. So when I reached at my crew members, I yelled at them in a harsh voice, but I didn't utter a word. But they motivated me so much that they made me finish the second day in just 10 hours. So on the third day, remember telling you of the ITB, because of which I couldn't run for the last 2 months? Exactly, that was the day I had to do 84 kilometers of running in just 12 hours, within 12 hours. So I made a strategy that I will first walk, then jog, and from jogging, I will take up the running. So I covered the first section of the race at 10 kilometers and covering the distance in a time of 1 hour and 50 minutes, which is the longest time I have taken till now. So after crossing 15-kilometer mark, I met my opponent Rizwan Hussain from Pakistan. Oh, I forgot to tell you that. On the first day, I rode for almost 5,400 feet of elevation with the unending grueling hills. That's my mom over there. So I met my opponent Rizwan. Yeah, there he is. We covered a distance of almost 60 kilometers of running, motivating and pulling each other from the fatigue pain. And I somehow made it to the finish line just 10 minutes before the cutoff time. That is what it was, of 11 hours and 50 minutes. So when I crossed the finish line, I made it in 31 hours and 32 minutes with 36th rank in the overall age category, which was the open category. Yeah, that's the finish line photo. And when I crossed the finish line, I got the news that I was the youngest athlete in the world who had crossed the finish line at the early 20s of my stage. So at that point, I had proven myself that there were no mental and physical boundaries. I had proven that I could, my body was capable of enough to finish the race. And yeah. So in the grueling journey of 36 hours and also practicing for it from the last 2 to 3 years, how did I made it to the finish line? How did I tame my mind to it? First of all, for taming your mind, you need to give your mind a nickname. Every time you get the thoughts of missing your workouts, or partying for too long, running away from your responsibilities, acknowledge that is your second mind. So you need to talk to your mind and calm it down. When your mind is in a restless position and you just need to sit calm, listen to your mind, what does it want to say, note down the pros and cons of it, and act accordingly. So for this, you have one exercise. Just sit at your favorite place. It could be on your favorite chair, on a terrace, on a garden, anywhere. Just sit quietly, close your eyes for 1 minute, and get the thoughts of not getting any thoughts. Means just calm your mental mind, restless mind, and don't get any thoughts. So our mind is a place, is a restless space, for where we can't stop the process of getting the thoughts. By this exercise, you can make your mind calm. So after that, you need to use the visualization techniques. So what is the visualization exercise? You can sit anywhere you want. Imagine the phase of your struggling and your winning phase of whatever you decide to do. Maybe it could be in the sports, in your academic career, or anything. Note down your weak and strong points and act accordingly. Moreover, act on your strong points so much that make them into your strong points. Act on your weak points to make it in the strong points. The column which you make of the strong and the weak points, there should be nothing in the strong weak points, and everything should be in your strong points. For me, running was the major toughest task to do in any sports, in triathlon, in modern pentathlon. I practiced it so hard that I made it one of my strong points than my cycling and swimming. Earlier, swimming used to be my strongest point, but now running is it. Remember that your mind is the biggest asset and your biggest enemy. If you act according to your mind, with your mind, it is the best asset which you could get it. But if you don't act with your mind, and if you have different thoughts in your mind and you act differently, it could be your worst enemy. Prove that you are capable enough of achieving great things. Remember, Rome wasn't built in a day. I always ask myself that, where do I see myself in the next 4 years? And this question, because of which I could complete the Ultraman and also stand over here to give a speech on it. I would like to ask you all, where do you see yourself in the next 4 years? Just being the ordinary, or just being the extraordinary? I would like to conclude my speech over here with the 3 things that I keep inspiring and inspiring with me, that be humble, be grateful, be phenomenal. Thank you.